Hi everyone, Coach Mark Tyers here, and this is part one of my end of season review for the 2024-25 season. Right, let's start off with the Wearside Raptors Elite. What an extraordinary season it's been for them. This is the first time Sunderland has had a junior National League team in decades, and they didn't just have a season, they had a really good season. They finished 5th out of 11 teams in the under-16 junior NBL North Conference 1. So that's for teams in the North East, Yorkshire, and also one team from Scotland in Edinburgh. And they finished with a fantastic record, 13 wins and 7 losses. And some of their wins were really notable. And they managed to beat conference champs Team QE Basketball Academy at home at Lambton Street, which was an extraordinary result. And they also had 2 wins over the Newcastle Eagles seconds team. The Newcastle Eagles seconds team finished 9th in the Junior NBL North Conference 1. They also came very, very close to beating Leeds LDM, who finished 2nd place. And Leeds LDM, by the way, and they put in great teams every year, and they led the conference this season in points difference. So well done for Raptors to take in Leeds LDM to overtime. I guess the only sort of blemish on the season from a Raptors point of view would be their 2 losses to Tees Valley Mohawks. Now, Tees Valley Mohawks had a really better than average defence, but ultimately Tees Valley Mohawks finished 8th with a 6 wins and 14 loss record. So that's something that Coach Arnell will be wanting to work on in the pre-season, because the Mohawks, they conceded just over 1,400 points this season, whereas the Raptors, who finished above them, conceded 1,500 points. So obviously the Raptors have got work to do on their defensive end. And then the other thing about this season for the Wearside Raptors Elite is that they were the only team in the Northeast that finished the only team that finished higher than them in this particular conference from the Northeast was Teesside Lions. Now, Teesside Lions finished 3rd, and they had a 16-4 record, and they also led the conference in points. No other team in the conference scored as many points as the Teesside Lions did. So that's great. So basically, the Wearside Raptors was the second best team in this conference in the Northeast, and so they were better than, for example, Louis Sayers School of Basketball, and they were better than East Durham Lions, and obviously better than Mohawks as well. Just for reference, there is an NBL, a junior NBL Premier Conference, and so the team that won the Junior NBL North Conference 1, which was obviously Team QE Basketball, who were based down in York. So at the end of the season, the winners of the conference go into the playoffs, and Team QE got knocked out in the first round by Nottingham Junior Hoods Gold, 101-61. So I guess that kind of puts into context the relative strength of this conference compared to the rest of the UK, and I think sort of if you want to ask the question, well, why did Wearside Elite Raptors have such a good season? I think you probably have to say that it was a combination of junior Raptors player development over the last 5 or so years that they've been in existence as a club. They've got some of their star players like Adam Clementi, Sam Makalalad, and these are all players which came up through the Junior Raptors system. They played Durham League. Some of them, obviously in Samuel Makalalad's case, he played last season for the Newcastle Eagles. So Raptors have both developed players in-house, and then also they've recruited players from out of town. And this is one of the reasons why they've been able to put together such a good team. And then obviously you have to mention Coach Arnell's coaching ability, because he's really got the team well conditioned, and he's got them playing a lot more as a team. So well done to Wearside Elite Raptors. Then if we take a step back, we can also review how the Raptors did in the under-16 Durham League. And you've got, again, I mentioned that they were the second best North East team in the junior NBL. Well, it was the same again in the Durham League. They finished second to Teesside Lions. So Raptors had 9 wins and 3 losses compared to Teesside Lions under-16s, who had 11 wins and 1 loss. But the Raptors did manage to beat Teesside Lions in the Durham League. And they were the only team to beat Teesside Lions this season in the Durham League as well. So again, decent finish in the Durham League for the Raptors, and I'm sure they'll be wanting to go one better next season. And next season, their Raptors are going bigger and better, and they're also launching an under-18 junior NBL team. And if you go on their Facebook page, you can check out all the details of players who are interested in trying out for that team. Because again, Coach Arnell and his team, they're going to give them a great pre-season. All right, moving on, and we're going to look at another Lambton Raptors team, which is the under-12s, and they play only in the Durham League. And again, they had a good season. They finished second in what was a large field. The largest number of teams entered the under-12 for quite a few years, and they finished second with a 14 win and 4 losses record. And the eventual champs, they took the eventual champs, which were Teesside Lions Red, and they took them right up to 3 quarters. They were even at 3 quarters. And it was only in the 4th that Teesside Lions Red managed to pull away from them in their last game. And I think that, the Raptors under-12s, they did good this season. Yes, they could have done better. I mean, obviously they had surprising and possibly avoidable losses to both East Durham and Husky Girls. But their best player, who in my opinion was Alex Georgiou, he's with part of the Basketball England Aspire process and also plays in the Newcastle Eagles CBL. He wasn't available to play in those losses to both East Durham and Husky Girls. So maybe, just maybe, those losses weren't as avoidable as maybe I'm saying they were. But nonetheless, it was a really good season for the Raptors under-12. I predicted they were going to finish second in the Durham League, and that's what they've done. So well done to them. Finally, I want to touch upon the community basketball sessions which have been happening in both Sunderland and Washington area. So the community sessions are going really well at both Lambton Street Youth and Community Hub on a Wednesday. From 4:30. Obviously, I run those sessions, so I'm biased, but we're getting excellent numbers down, and we're getting some really good basketball played there. And then also, I've got to mention that Junior Titans have been putting on their community sessions on a Thursday, both at Rach Carter Centre from 4 p.m. and also at Barnwell, just the other side of Penshaw Monument, and those sessions have been going like week in, week out, thanks to the seemingly tireless work of Coach Simon Wood. And then also shout out to Oxclose Basketball Club, whose junior community sessions on a Friday again have been going week in, week out, with the obvious exception of school holidays. And I've been hearing some fantastic things about those Oxclose sessions from some of the parents and players who have been attending them. So that's the end of part 1 of my end of season review, and we've got part 2 coming up when the under 14s and the women's and men's finish off their seasons. But for now, I just want to end by shouting out the Easter basketball sessions which are happening at Lambton Street Youth and Community Centre on Wednesday. Only £2 cash per child you pay at reception. The under 13s, so that's for kids in school years 8, school years 7, and for the more advanced players in school years year 6, that's happening from 9:30 a.m. And then you've got the younger session for kids in basically primary school. That's happening from 3:30 p.m. And so if you just check out the graphic which is on the screen now, you'll be able to get the full details for that. All right, well, part 2 is going to be coming up in a few weeks' time, and hope you all check that out.